Hello, I'm Steve Phelan, here to tell you about Beechmont Players' upcoming musical, Blood Brothers. Blood Brothers will be performed at the Anderson Center Theater February 10th through 18th. Beechmont Players is the resident theater company at the Anderson Center Theater and is currently celebrating its 53rd season of providing the best in entertainment to East Side audiences. Blood Brothers was written by Willie Russell, author of 2 successful movies, Educating Rita and Shirley Valentine. It tells the story of a single mother who is on the dole and, in financial desperation, sells one of her newborn twins to a childless couple. Pressures of economics, superstition, and class all collide in this award-winning musical. We've got several guests with us today to provide some perspective on this show. Becky Krauser is Beechmont Players' Vice President of Shows, and she's also the vocal director for Blood Brothers. Becky, why did Beechmont Players select this particular show?
Well, Blood Brothers is a really interesting musical because it's actually one of the longest running musicals ever, certainly one of the longest running in London's West End. The show actually opened back in 1983, and the current revival has been running since 1988. It's an amazingly popular show among a very specific group of people, mostly theater people, as it were. A lot of the greater public have never heard of this show, and for reasons I'll never figure out, it's not often performed, and certainly not very often in this area, save for a few high school productions here and there. I've actually done the show in the past and really enjoy the show, and jumped at the chance of a director who is passionate about doing this show. The show itself is not your typical musical. It isn't your happy-go-lucky, Hello Dolly kind of sing-song plot. It's a little darker, a little heavier, deals with some real issues that people face in terms of family dynamics, class controversies, and things like that. The music itself, however, is a little bright and cheerful, so it's a very interesting dichotomy.
Thank you. We'll be looking forward to seeing you in Blood Brothers, February 10th through 18th. And this was Becky Krauser, the Vice President of Shows and Vocal Director. Laurie Brinkman plays the mother of the twins, Mrs. Johnson, in Beechmont Players' Blood Brothers. Why do you think audiences are going to enjoy Blood Brothers?
Oh, it's a wonderful, wonderful play. It's a play with music. It's not your typical fluffy musical. There's so much, again, I keep going back to the word depth, but there's so much depth to the show. A lot of struggles with the desperation of between rich and poor. Maybe similar to what's going on in today's world with the economic struggle. The poor is trying desperately to survive, while the rich is also trying desperately to survive. There's greed and desperation on both sides. Obviously, different veins of that. But the musical itself, it's wonderful, wonderful music, but a great story to go with it. So many times in theater, musicals have a very fluffy story to go along with it. This actually is a wonderful, wonderful show with a great story, but also wonderful music.
That's great. And this is Laurie Brinkman. We'll be looking forward to seeing you on stage in Blood Brothers, February 10th through the 18th. Tom Berquist is the co-producer for Blood Brothers. What do you think audiences will enjoy the most about Blood Brothers?
Well, for me anyway, it's the music. I think the music is just fantastic. I'd put it up there with Miss Saigon and Les Miserables. It's just wonderful, strong music, and you have such good actors who can sing very well, along with the orchestra. It's such a great score that's been written for this show, and I think that to me is really going to be the strong point, as well as having a nice story that goes behind it.
What has impressed you the most about this production?
Well, what's really impressed me is talent. The breadth of the talent that comes here and the commitment that these people make, the hours that they're willing to put into it. They're working people. I mean, these are people who have 9-to-5 jobs, and then they come and they work many, many hours. We put together a master schedule that almost the whole month of December, January, and half of February are filled up with something happening in one of the nights, whether it's choreography, vocal rehearsals, blocking rehearsals, and things like that. So the commitment that these people make and the talent that's out there in the Cincinnati area is just fantastic.
Thank you. That's from Tom Berquist, who's the co-producer of Blood Brothers, which is running February 10th through 18th at the Anderson Center Theater. My next two guests not only play twin brothers in Blood Brothers, but they're brothers in real life, Robert and Kevin Breslin. Robert, you actually played your role of Mickey in a different company's production of Blood Brothers. But Kevin wasn't in that show. How will playing opposite your own brother change things?
I think that it's going to bring a real chemistry to stage. It's going to give the audience a real connection that we actually do share in real life. You know, the camaraderie and the tension is all real. You know, there's not so much to fabricate that way, and I think it's going to make for a great show.
Good, good. Kevin, tell us a little bit about the parts that you two play in the show.
Well, the two of us play twins that are separated just after birth, and the twins end up going to very different socioeconomic environments. My character, Eddie, ends up going to a very upper-class environment. He attends all the best private schools, has sort of his life laid out for him at the beginning, whereas my brother's character, Mickey, stays with the original family, who are very impoverished, and he ends up going to all the public schools and, you know, getting in trouble, dealing with crime, things like that.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Robert. I hope you enjoyed learning a little about the upcoming Beachmont Players production of Blood Brothers. Blood Brothers will be playing at the Anderson Center Theater on 5 Mile Road from February 10th through 18th.